Hello, are you all there?
Yes, sir.
Welcome back to the
Yes,
class.
sir.
And again, we are there in the French Revolution, where we will continue with. And last time or last week, we have seen about the timeline through which the French Revolution was happened since 1774 to 1946. Whatever the happenings have done there, whatever the events had taken place there, all the things we had learned and we had discussed. Okay. See now, here we had seen the main events with dates. After that, we had seen causes of the French Revolution, especially the Bastille storming of the Bastille, what happened there in Versailles. Okay, and the concept of three states: first state, second state, and third state. After that, we had seen the struggle to survive and subsistence crisis. Subsistence crisis were belonging to the hike in the food prices, okay, where the poor people were not able to purchase the essential food items there, okay, understood. And that is why the people, the ratio of the deaths there in Bastille, especially in France, okay, the whole country, actually they were dying of starving, and another wave of deaths were, or the just they were actually passing away there due to some viral infections as well. Okay, lots of causes were there, and that is only called the subsistence crisis. Now let's just understand what is the emergence of middle class envisages an end to privilege. Okay, try to understand this. What did I say? Still people, students are joining. Let them join.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Beta. Good evening. Why did you join the class late?
Sir, my internet wasn't good. It was taking too much time to load.
Okay.
So I
Now, during
joined by late.
the emergence of middle class envisages an end to privilege. What does it mean by envisages? To have a
To have a
particular mental picture of something happen in future. Something happened in future. Did you get it? Okay, that is called envisage. In the sense, these middle class people, they were coming up with some new concepts, and whatever the clergies and other classes were getting the privileges, those privileges were abolished. Those privileges were abolished. Did you get it? Okay. So what happened
Yes.
there? A social group termed the middle class emerged in the 18th century. Now see, there is another way to understand this. People, those were not included in the mainstream, you may consider them. Okay, they were not included in the mainstream of society. Okay, the mainstream in the source of the society was means it was not involving the people who were belonging to the third stage people. And what happened there in Versailles? They declared themselves the middle class people. Okay, those third estate people, they declared themselves the middle class people, and that is where that happened in the 18th century, as it was taken place. That means it had taken place in the in the year of 1789. So that was the end of 18th century. What was that? The end of 18th century. Okay, the last scene of 18th century. So this group emerged itself into the middle class, and it emerged there in the 18th century. Again, the increasing overseas trade and expanding wool trade brought money to this class. They formed the more prosperous and educated section of the third estate. Was this done? Hello? No, it was not done. Na?
Sir, I don't think so.
Hello?
Sir, can you repeat?
Was it done? What I'm telling you, what I'm teaching you right now?
I don't think so, sir.
Not completed, na? Till this only. Subsistence crisis till we have seen there, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So better understand this thing. How this middle class has emerged in the 18th century. What happened there? These people, actually they become they become rich, or they become well defined life. Okay, like they emerged as the prosperous and the flourished society there. Okay, why? Because of the trades they were doing overseas, and from that trade they were getting a lot of money. Okay, and this section of illiterate people there in the society of France, they became educated and even prosperous. They started to hoard money. They started to involve themselves into the election process. Lots of things they started to do. Okay, that is why it is said as emergence of middle class. They come up in the society. They come up in the society with what? With new concepts, with new way of trade. Okay, getting the money properly. Okay, from the trade. Lots of things they were doing. Third point is, in addition to merchants and manufacturers, the third state included professionals such as lawyers, administrative officials, okay, money lenders. Lots of people were involved in that third state. Merchants were also involved there. They believed that no group in society should be privileged by birth. See, what did they do? Actually, they did not want that
Yes, sir.
the people, or instead of saying only people, we would say the particular people should not get the more comfortable life. Okay, comfortable life by birth, as they would have to do a lot of work there. Only getting the privileges by birth, by ancestral way, in the way of ancestor. Okay, that should not be done, and that is why they made the framework of the constitution where all the people would get the same rights. Okay, that was the framework there in France during 18th century. Okay, what happened there in Bastille and Versailles, we have already seen there. Got it? Now, what kind of ideology of the philosophers was there? What were they thinking about all these scenarios? Okay, so the middle class wanted political freedom for itself and was sympathetic to the causes of peasants. Means they were sympathetic towards the peasants. They were not actually, they had not thought about the plight of the peasants, that the upper caste people, upper caste not, but the first state and second state people were actually getting the peasants who were in third state, they were getting exploited through these two states. And that for that, the person who were not actually peasants, but they were merchants or money lenders or other people who were belonging to third state. They had some sympathy about the peasants, because ultimately the peasants were peasant was the group where it had to pay lot of tax there, okay, to the government. And by doing work in the fields, they were not able to get that much earning so that they would pay the taxes. And in this way, they were caught into what? Into the debt trap. I already told this. Other thing, the Enlightenment philosophers like John Locke, Jean Jacques, Rousseau, Voltaire, and Montesquieu were instrumental in influencing the rising educated middle class. They were instrumental. They were instrumental in the sense they were also wanted to have the education in the third state people. Okay, they should also come up with the new ideas or new innovations. Got it? They
Yes, sir.
criticize the
Yes, sir.
doctrine of the divine and absolute right of the monarch. They criticize means what? They made the comments upon such thinking. Okay, as the king was ruling there, it means they were considering that the king is the person who belonged to the god, and whatever the king would say in the society, that would be considered the farman given by the god. Okay, it means the monarch was considered the god there, and whatever he would say there, that would be the final thing. Okay, and upon this, these philosophers were against all these things. Got it? They were not actually supporting this thing. Now, what is the course of the French Revolution? Course in the sense what? The way the French Revolution had taken place. Okay? What was the course of the French Revolution? Means, we may say the events or the chronology.
Okay.
What does it call as? Chronology. Chronology means the events. Okay, from 0 to 100 or n numbers can be there. That is called the chronology. But how the events have taken place one by one, that is chronology, and that is only called the course of the revolution. Okay, course of the revolution. Did you get it? Is there any confusion?
No,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Are you getting or not?
Sir, it's like the order of event.
Huh?
Chronology.
Chronology means order of events.
Yeah, sir, that's what it is. Order of event.
Yes, sir.
Okay, order of events.
Yes,
That
sir.
is called. I told you here. Yeah, you may also say sequence of events. Got it? Now the assembly of the States General. What happened there in Versailles? Okay, we'll see.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, when we say order of events, sir, what does it mean by that, sir?
Order of event. This is only chronology.
No,
Chronology
sir, what do you
is
mean by
order
that,
of
sir?
events. In the sense what happened first, after that what happened, after that what happened. Okay, this is the sequence, na? Order, that which event took place first, what is the second, what is the third, that is order of event. Okay,
Yes,
So
sir.
like this
Yes,
event,
sir.
this is the first event which triggered the second event and its time.
right. Okay, the first event, like you born, the second event you started to talk, the third event you started to walk. Are you getting the point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
This is
sir.
chronology. Now your parents may have that sequence. When did you start to walk? When did you start to talk? When did you first time say mom? or mama, whatever, or papa and daddy or whatever. Okay, that thing, that is the events. Oh, sorry, that those are the events that are called as chronology. What happened in one's life. Okay, so what happened on May 5 or 5th of May 1789? This is the course. Now it is starting here. Okay, it is starting here of the revolution. The revolution now is beginning there. Actually, it happened there on 14th July 1789. We have already discussed about it. But the main course was started already there from 5th May 1789. What happened there, we'll see there. On 5th May, Louis XVI called an assembly of the States General to pass the proposal of new taxes. See, the very important point was there that the people who were involved in the revolution was the taxes only. And what happened there? The people, the assembly, which was organized with the intention of resolving the financial crisis. We have already discussed that in 1774, when the King Louis XVI he became the emperor, he found the coffer of the society, sorry, of the royal family was totally empty. And to take the review of that particular way, particular thing, in the sense why that coffer was totally empty, because of the wars. Did you get it? Okay. And to get money from the people, there was only one way to hike into the taxes. How do you collect money from the people? How would the government collect money from the common people? In the form of taxes. And to take the review of that particular assembly, he called on the members of the assembly to resolve the financial crisis. Instead, became the spark to the fuel. Means it worked like fueling into the fire. What happened there? Actually, this meeting, which was held by the king, it was taken in the wrong way by the common people. It was a rumor there. What kind of rumor was there? The state general was a political body to which the three states sent their representatives. Now, one thing I would like to tell you here, what happened here also you would see the discrimination among the states and even their values. So each state was allowed to send their representatives to the assembly, as the king already called on the meeting. Now, here they wanted to have a discussion with the all members. So the first and the second state sent 300 representatives each. In the sense, now take this example here. Try to understand what I'm trying to tell you. 300 plus 300, first state and second state. How many members together were there?
600.
600. Okay.
600.
Now, these members, those who are belonging to first and second state, they were sitting into the row in the row facing each other, facing each other. For example, these are the two rows, and they were sitting like this. They were sitting. I'm repeating. They were sitting. Understood? While
Sir,
the
sir.
600 members of the third state had to stand at the back. Means these people who are actually represented through some points there, these were 300 and these were 300.
Sir, but this at the
And
second
they were belonging to only one state, and that was the third state. Okay. Yes, someone was telling something.
Sir, I was telling sir, the second point actually reminds me, sir, the fact that we have completed this part, sir.
What?
Yes, sir, we have completed this part, sir. The second point actually reminds me.
Second, first line, first point, second line.
He's saying that we already completed this.
Huh?
Already completed this page.
Completed the course of the French Revolution.
It was
sir.
completed.
Yes, sir.
When?
Sir, like this second point is there as the States General was a political body. This actually reminds me the facts of we had.
That is why I
Last class,
asked you, was it completed? But I don't think. Other students, please speak up. Was it done? I don't think.
Yes, sir. We have
Yes,
done
sir,
it,
it's
sir.
completed.
300 plus 300 equals to 600.
Yes,
this
sir.
side, this is the one that numbered, sir.
Where did I explain that? It is not there. We had
Last
started
class.
this on
Yeah, last class.
10th May. And after
So
that,
I
we
just
hadn't any class.
see you removed it.
Then, was it completed?
Yes, sir.
I don't think so because I did not take after 10th May any class of 9th standard because I think it was holiday. I think I had given, means I had given that day, means I did not take class on that day, I think. See, it was about to take on
Sir,
17
then
May.
it's okay, sir. You can once again revise it.
Huh?
It will be our good only, sir.
Huh?
Sir, I'm telling you, we can once again revise it, sir. It will be for
1 second. I had taught it, but I did not teach you. I taught another student. Okay? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Are you all there?
Yes, sir.
Is it visible to you?
No, sir, the screen is not visible.
Screen is not visible. See what I was telling you. This new section was created for 9th standard only. And this was created on 10th of May. You know? And according to this what? According to this, we have a class after every 7 days, right? Am I clear there?
Yes, sir.
Did you get it?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Sir, can I leave after 10 minutes?
Huh?
Sir, it's my birthday.
It's your
Birthday.
birthday. Hello.
birthday.
Sir, it's his birthday.
Whose birthday?
So he has
Vishnu.
to go.
Huh?
Vishnu, sir.
Vishnu, sir.
Vishnu?
Vishnu, sir.
Oh, Vishnu, wish you a very happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Vishnu.
Thank you all.
Happy
Very
birthday.
happy.
Happy birthday, Vishnu.
Please, everyone, wishing.
Happy birthday, Vishnu.
Thank you all.
Vishnu? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So what do you wanted me to do? Shall I leave you early or what?
Sir, what?
One second. Okay. So once again, wish you a very happy birthday, Vishnu. May God bless you and may your dreams come true very soon. Okay. And you should be a loving person forever, for all. So the course that we were seeing there, are you getting my voice?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I think we even completed the tennis court also.
Which event?
The tennis court.
Tennis
Oath.
was done. I don't think so because I did not teach you, I'm sure. Because if I would have taught you, so something would have been written here, na?
Sir, but I guess you have deleted it, sir.
Your voice is not
mistakenly.
audible.
No, sir, I'm telling them mistakenly must have gotten deleted, sir.
What must be deleted?
So
The
the children stuff. So we know the fact.
But I'm not getting that I have taken this for you. Actually, I have taken the class for one of the students, but that student was another student of my personal class. But I took you. I'm little bit confusing. So even if it is done, let me take this. Okay, I'll see there. Just take it as a recap. Got it?
Yes.
Okay. So they sent 300 members from each, that is first and second state, and the third state sent 600 members. Okay, and they were standing behind these rows. Okay. Until then, voting in the states general had been conducted according to the principle that each state had one vote. Now see, I don't think I taught you this. Okay. Actually, each state had one vote for first or second or third. But members of the, sorry, first and second. Members of the third state demanded that voting be conducted by the assembly as a whole, where each member would have one vote. What was the demand from the third state?
That each person should get
Each
one vote.
person would have one vote, one value, right? So in this way, suppose these people would have 300, these people would have 300, and these one alone state would have 600 votes. So this state would have won the election, isn't it? When the king rejected this proposal, members of the third state, they walked out of the assembly in the protest. After rejection of their demands at at the assembly of states, the third state decided to take matters into their hands. Now these people became furious when the king rejected this proposal. Suppose each state would have one vote, so people would have not been segregated properly, and these people would have got more votes there. Understood? As they were belonging to the first and second state. But these people would have not any kind, means 1 plus 1, there would be 2 votes, and these people would have only 1 vote. Means the votes were decided on the basis of a state first, not on the basis of the representatives. As the representatives were belonging to the third state alone, they were more than the first and second state. Okay, that is why the king denied this. And due to this deny, the third state people, they became furious, they became disappointed with the king, and to protest it, they came on the roads and they started to demonstrate against the king. What happened there in the tennis court? They are the third state people took oath. What kind of oath they took? Actually, the powers they decided to take into their hands now. They wanted to abolish the whole rights of monarch, and they wanted to have the democratic policies to be imposed there in the society. Got it? And that is why they wanted to frame the constitution. Now let us understand. On 20th of June, the third state assembled at the indoor tennis court in the ground of Versailles. Where it was? There in Versailles. Okay, this was the tennis court, and that was the indoor tennis court. They declared themselves as National Assembly and vote to draft a constitution for France that would limit the powers of monarch. Means limit in the sense, definitely they wanted to abolish the powers of monarch. Why did they think so? Who can explain this? Why did they think so? Hello,
Sir, I did not understand, sir.
Shreyashi.
So yes, sir, I'm telling I did not understand, sir, what you're trying to ask, sir.
Actually, I asked you, why did they decide to frame the constitution and why did they decide to abolish the powers of monarch?
So by this way, everyone could get an equal chance and everyone would pay equal taxes.
Okay. The tax is the main reason.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
And what happened there at the time of assembly? That reason is not valid there.
Even that reason is also valid. Equality.
Equally, that is also important because why the king is there? To protect the interest of the common people, isn't it?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Protect the interest of the common people. But this person who was sitting there, King Louis XVI, he was actually under the control, means he was not under the control directly, but he was taking the favor of the people from belonging to first and second state, and that made the people from third state disappointed with him, and that is why they came on the roads and for the demonstration or protest against him. And after that, when it was the water level was crossing the nose, that time they decided that now the powers would have been taken by themselves and they would be framing the constitution for France, as that constitution would consist of the values of nationalism, the values of nationalism. Okay, that kind of framework they wanted to be launched in the society. They were led by Mirabeau, a noble, and Abbé, a priest. Priest means who? Actually, these people they work in the church. Okay, just like Pandit in temples. Okay, they are there in the church. Okay, a tennis court oath was taken and signed by 577 members or representatives of the third state. They declared themselves as National Assembly and said their goal to form a constitution that would restrict the powers of the monarch and sought to assert people's sovereignty. Sovereignty means what? The people would live together with harmony. Did you get it? Now,
Yes, sir.
another point is social and economic crisis. What were the social and economic crisis? Economic crisis, they would be consisting the points of subsistence crisis only. Okay. And what about the social crisis? That there were the discriminations. What kind of discriminations? While the National Assembly was busy at Versailles drafting a constitution, the rest of France was in crisis. What kind of crisis? Severe winter had destroyed the food crops, which resulted in increase in bread prices. First thing. Second thing, bakers hoarded supplies and raised prices of bread for making greater profit. Now this is very an important point. Very important point. Why? Because see, here the widened gap could be seen between the rich and the poor. How the bread price or prices were high, and whatever the breads were kept or hoarded by the rich people or the shopkeepers, they were hoarded, they were not brought into the market so that the flow would be controlled, but they hoarded those bread, and at the time where exactly the supply of food was stopped, they brought the bread into the shop and with the high prices, so the poor had to purchase. Why? Because they had to live, and those breads were to be purchased in the high prices. Whatever the saving money was there with the people, that all went into purchasing the household things or the essential food. Okay, in this way the gap of between the rich and the poor widened there. After spending hours in long queues at the bakery, crowds of angry women stormed into the shops. Which shops those were? Actually, those were government shops. And some personal shops were, means private shops were also there. The women especially, they wanted to have the bread for, not for them, but for their children, their kids. And they were not getting, for so long they were standing in the queue, but they were not getting the bread over there. So due to that, they became angry and they started to vandalize the things in the shop and snatching. They were snatching the bread for themselves. At the same time, the king ordered troops to move into Paris on 14th of July. The agitated crowd stormed and destroyed the Bastille. With the storming of the Bastille, the revolution reached to its frenzy, or reached to its ultimatum, that from there would be the crisis in the society forever. As there was not the fault of the king, as he was not actually trying to suppress the people. He was only wanted to have the control upon them, but it did not happen. Okay, instead of that, the people took it wrong that the king had sent the troops to suppress them and to beat them and to arrest them, and that is why the Bastille storming happened and people vandalized the prison there. Did you get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Till this we have seen today. Afterwards, we'll take another point. Okay. We
Yes,
will leave
sir.
the
Yes,
class.
sir.